Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Dudek Nucleon 4. It's classified as an intermediate paraglider, and I've been using it pretty much as my primary glider for the last year. To give a background on myself, I've been flying for a little over 2 years, and I have about 184 hours total. I have 100 hours on a Universal 1.1 and about 84 hours on this glider. I've flown a few other gliders here and there, but nothing as my primary glider, so this will be reviewed as my primary glider and my second wing that I actually purchased. So why did I choose this glider? There's a lot of options out there. I really like the Dudek line, so I wanted to try something in the Dudek. I was looking at the Solo, but it just wasn't the next step up, and the next step I saw in the style of flying I did was the Nucleon 4. The flying I do is general purpose, flying around, having a good time, mild wing overs, no big acro, some cross country with some of the groups that I fly with. So I wanted something that was a good all-arounder, that was a little bit faster when the trims were in, but also could keep up with my buddies trimmed out. The first thing I'll talk about here is the launching and landing. I went from a 25.5 meter Universal to a 20 meter Nucleon 4. So first thing I noticed, I was running a lot faster to get in the air, but a mild tap of the brakes I found just when you're about to start flying would pop you right up. In these videos that I'm playing here, I think this is my second week with the wing, and I was able to pop up with ease. So no issues with trying to get up. The wing pops up overhead. It wants to stay flying. It rarely overshoots, so it's not something that's going to overfly you real difficultly. If this is your second wing, I think this is something that you would definitely be able to launch pretty easily. In-flight characteristics are something that's kind of subjective and kind of not, depending on what you're used to and what your traditional flying style is. But I find this wing to be an excellent all-arounder. Whether I'm following people in these canyons here, whether I'm doing some mild wing overs, trying to have a little bit of fun, this wing definitely does it all. And I say that as a good general purpose wing. Not all of us are looking for the fastest wing, but a lot of us want a little bit more performance out of our beginner's wing, and this is exactly what it gave me. It comes standard tied into your 2D steering, so that's something you're going to have to get used to, but now that I've had 2D tied in, I'll probably never go back. The way it banks and rolls is pretty amazing and smooth. Oscillations are very rare. It's usually over in 1 or 2 oscillations. If you were to pull brake and just let go, within 1 or 2 swings back, you would actually get back to normal. However, it does dive pretty hard. So compared to a 25.5 meter Universal, I was surprised with how fast you can get this thing to dive. This wing builds energy pretty fast, and it's something that I had to get used to, and a lot of times I'll get myself into a situation where I got to do a mild spiral out of a wing over because it builds energy quite a bit faster than what I was used to before. And I want you to take into consideration that, again, I only have about 184 hours, and I've flown, some mild wings. This is my second actual wing, and I think this review is more tailored towards people who are looking for their second or maybe third wing, depending on, how much you fly and what your flying style is. Getting into the speed of the wing is quite a bit faster trimmed in than my Universal was. Mind you, I'm heavily loaded. I'm about 115 kilos on this setup that I run. And this wing, after 110 is where it's in its advanced zone, all the way up to 125. So I'm pretty heavily loaded on this wing. And I can keep up with pretty much everyone trimmed in when they're trimmed in. And then moving into trims out, there's really no one that I can't keep up with. Speed is subjective and hard to kind of track, but from what I've looked at, I average about 24 miles an hour in the air when I'm trimmed in. And when I'm trimmed out, I can get about 38 to 39 trimmed all the way out. Again, it's tough to measure. There's some other videos that kind of share their measurements when they were going in the wind and against the wind, but I look at my general overall flight, and I just kind of average that out when I do my recordings of my flights. And I'm doing about 24 miles an hour, which may seem slow, but I'm also flying against the wind and I'm climbing and doing other things. But it's going to keep up with all your speedsters, your roadsters. and it's much faster than my universal was when my universal was trimmed in. It's about the same speed trimmed out that my universal was, and my universal had, I think, 24 centimeters of trim, where this has about 12 centimeters of trim. So you can see on some of the videos that I've been playing through here, I keep up with pretty much every wing out there. So with speed-wise, you're not gonna miss anything. It's definitely not the fastest wing out there, but it is not slow by any means. But it's just a fantastic all-around wing. Now, when we look at the performance of the wing, again, that's kind of subjective, but I'm going to share my thoughts as a second wing or maybe a third wing for yourself. This is leaps and bounds above anything like a universal, a low B, or an A wing. The performance is quite a bit more aggressive. It dives really hard if you give it a nice, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches of pull, and it can do it builds energy really quick, right? So I do a couple mild wing overs on some of the video playing, and you'll see that, but the reality is it is a bit more aggressive and takes a minute to get used to. When I'm fully loaded, I'm about 120 kilos when I got a full tank of gas, and I can definitely feel that it's very, very aggressive on diving when you're starting to pull. Not to a scary point. Like, I think if you have a good 80 hours in, this could be the wing for you. But if you're someone that is maybe at 40 hours, this may be, 40 hours or so away from you from being able to fly this wing, just because of how twitchy it can get when you're heavily loaded. If you were to get a bigger size up, then you might be able to progress a little slower on the wing, but I wanted something that I would definitely grow into as I kept my universal. And speaking of that, I'll mention I've only flown my universal a couple of times since I've had this for the last year, and that was only when I had a few week break and I wanted to get back into the sport a little bit slowly. This wing is very fun to fly, and I consider it an all-rounder, right? So if what you're looking for is a wing that you can have a little bit of sporty, a little bit of cross-country, and a little bit of just fun in the air, this wing is for you. It's stable. It's not too scary if you keep within your limits, and it does everything I want it to do. I feel like I'm driving a sports car compared to the boat I was on when I was flying my universal, and it builds a lot of confidence in there. I'll share some videos. I've been doing quite a bit of foot drags on it, quite a bit of wing overs, and nothing crazy acro, because that's not what I'm about. I'm not about doing any crazy acro, but just having a lot of fun. That's what this wing is all about. So the final question comes down to, if I had to do it again, being that I've flown a few other wings since then, would I buy this wing again? And the answer is absolutely yes. I really don't see myself progressing past this wing. And again, I'm saying that at 184 hours and maybe at 200, 250, I'm going to want some more performance, but I can definitely say that this wing is doing everything that I want it to do. If you're someone who is not going to be a crazy acro pilot and you just want to have some fun, you want to do some wing overs, maybe a barrel roll. I've seen people do it, but I haven't done it on it. Maybe this wing is for you. But if this is, if you're looking for the crazy cross-country wing, if you're looking for the crazy acro wing, this probably isn't it. But if you're looking for an all-around wing that you want to be able to have in your back pocket, that you can just have a good time on, that's fast enough to keep up with all of your friends, and that is able to do what you want it to do within your limits, I think this wing is for you. If you're looking for a second wing that's going to help progress to any style of flying, I think this wing is definitely something that you're going to enjoy, and you're going to be able to build some confidence and start to learn new maneuvers on, or learn distances on. This wing is a great all-arounder. It doesn't really have a true classification as a cross-country or an acro or a beginner, or it's just an intermediate wing, and it's a fantastic stepping stone to wherever you want to go. Or if that's your limit, I think this wing is for you. So, my overall review, I love this wing. I love flying it. I encourage a lot of my friends to try and fly it. I wish more of my friends were in my weight class so they can try it, because it's absolutely a fun wing to fly, and it's something that you're going to enjoy flying. So, thank you for sticking around and listening to my review. I hope this helps anyone especially when I was searching for my second wing. If you've looked on Facebook, you've probably seen my post. I've been talking about second wings like a year and a half ago, and this is a wing I chose, and I'm extremely happy with it. So if you're in the Northern California Bay Area and you want to try this wing, let me know. I'm glad to let you fly it. I know we're a pretty tight group, so I've probably offered it to you already, but it's a solid wing that you're going to enjoy flying for a very long time, and I see myself putting a good couple hundred hours on it at least before I'm ready to move on to anything else. So once again, I appreciate you listening to the review. I hope this has helped someone make a decision, and if you get a chance to demo this wing, just give it a demo because I think you're really going to like it. Thanks.